Some days you don't need a plan, they just unfold. This is one of those simple real life weekends, time at home, a little shop for the bits we need and cooking. I'm sharing my favourite comforting soup, taking you with me to Home Bargains and then heading out as a family to IKEA for some kitchen inspo. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Katrina. I'm a mum of 2 and I love to share all about real food. I'm also obsessed with keeping wellness really simple, not overwhelming and just really doable. So this channel is just really about real life. Food, family, home and everyday moments in between. So grab something nice and cosy to drink and I hope you enjoy the video.
We made a boat and it actually floats.
This is what we spent the morning doing.
And
making a boat. We've literally glued, didn't we? Well, with our masking tape.
Yeah.
Let's turn it around. So we've got some bottles at the bottom. We've got a plastic container, some sponges to the side.
And this is the chair.
Roll. This is the comfortable chair. So we need to make sure the action man is comfortable. And it actually works, doesn't it, Theo?
And we got the special gliders.
The special gliders.
If we go into the wall,
yeah,
they will bounce. They'll make the boat able to bounce off.
Okay.
That bit, and get it like this.
And it worked. Really proud of our experiment this morning, Theo.
Yeah.
Came up really well, didn't it?
Yeah,
and the action man's living his best life, isn't he?
I wish I was to try right now. Then I'll be like, whee!
I am literally ready to go and pop to Home Bargains. This is what I'm wearing today. It's a co-ord that I picked up. I'll just show you from Primark ages ago, but it's super comfy. Wish I'd got it in the grey as well now because sometimes it's easy just to bung them on. You haven't really got to think about what you're wearing too much. And obviously it's still cold outside, so I want to be nice and cosy and comfy. But yeah, just gonna jump in the car, go to Home Bargains. I've got to return a couple of things, see if I can pick a couple of things up. I just want a couple of like small wooden chopboards to go on my shelving display. Also see if anything else catches my eye. I don't know if you can see, but my skin, the redness has definitely gone down from my micro needling yesterday. I woke up, my skin felt a little bit tight. Obviously you can't wear makeup or anything, so I literally just went over with some rose water that I use every morning and then just put a really nice calming moisturiser on. And actually, that's calmed it, it feels quite nourished and the dryness now has gone. So yeah, just gonna jump in the car, go to Home Bargains and let's see what goodies we find. I can't believe all the Easter stuff is out. Still think it's too soon. Absolutely not. Come on, mister. Push the trolley. So I've actually been thinking about getting a stand mixer for ages. I looked in John Lewis the other day and they were so expensive. In here, they're like 50 quid. I'm actually thinking about treating myself because it'd be so much easier when I'm doing my baking, when I'm making bread, etc, etc. So I might actually just get one. I think I will. Absolutely zero wooden chopping boards at all. I don't know why, I just can't see them. I didn't see them in Asda. I'm going to have a look in Dunelm now. Fingers crossed they have some in there. I think there's a sale in here at the moment, but yeah, come on darling. I can't be distracted. I have to keep my eyes on the prize and not buy things that I don't need just because they're on sale. In this way, bubs. Here we go, in we go.
What's the price for this?
So again, they haven't really got what I'm looking for. I just want like the small decorative chopping boards and there's nothing. Like, they have something like this, but ideally I don't want it this huge, great big size. I'd like it smaller than that. And I'm really, yeah, well, smaller. But I'm really having problems finding any. It's like none of the shops have them in. It is coming up for lunchtime. I'm absolutely starving and I thought we could make, because this is the perfect weather for it, let's be honest, a nice comforting creamy tomato soup. and this is all in one tray. It has the delicious element of feta added to it, which makes it even more delicious. So I'm going to walk you through the ingredients that you're going to need to make this. Okay, so here's all the ingredients that you are going to need. You're going to need your olive oil. You're going to need 600 grams of chopped tomatoes. If you have big ones, obviously you can chop them up. I'm using some little ones here. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever style tomatoes you like. You're going to need a whole bulb of garlic. This is optional, but if you want to, you can add a red pepper. I don't actually have any red pepper in, so we're going to work with what we've got. You're going to need a whole pack of feta cheese. You're going to need some parmesan this is for afterwards to put on top, it's delicious. Salt and pepper, Italian style herbs, 1 onion. We're going to need to make up some stock as well. So you can use some chicken stock cubes, vegetable stock cubes, bone broth stock cubes, whatever stock cubes that you want to use. And you're also going to need a baking tray pre-lined with some baking paper. What we're going to do now is we're going to wash our veg, get it all chopped up, and then get it lined onto the baking paper. Put in our block of feta cheese onto the middle of the baking tray. There we go. Squeeze out any remainders that's in there. I don't like to waste. There we go. Put that in the bin. Okay, I've already washed my tomatoes, so I'm literally just gonna put them around the feta cheese like that. Now this is so quick and easy to make. So I'm gonna literally dice up roughly. This hasn't got to be neat. I'm gonna roughly dice my onion. Just chop my onion up roughly. I'm just going to cut this into quite big chunks. And let's put that in, put it all around, there we go. Make sure your oven is preheated, guys, as well. We want it on 180 if you have a fan oven, 200 if you don't. Okay, let's open up our garlic clove. I've just realised I actually have used this. But there's only 1 or 2 garlic cloves taken from this. Put this in the bin. And what you're going to do is you're just going to just get rid of the outer paper. Just roughly, just trim off the top. Trim it off. There we go. Trim off the top. So you can literally see the garlic coming through. Don't worry too much about the paper, but it should look like this. And then we're going to pop that in there. And we're just going to drizzle that across like that. And then we're going to go in with some salt, some pepper. So like I said, if you've got a red pepper, just roughly chop that, bung that in. But I don't have any red pepper today, so we're doing without. And then I like to throw in some Italian style herbs. Just literally sprinkle that over like so. And then we are going to pop this in the oven for about 35 minutes, just until it all starts to brown off and the vegetables start to go soft. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for that to cook, we want to make up 300 ml of chicken or vegetable stock. Whilst that's cooking, we need an accompaniment. You can't just have soup on its own. Well, not in my house, you can't anyway. So I'm going to make some deliciously crunchy croutons to go with it. I've got 2 slices of bread. You can use whatever bread that you like. I've actually got the toasting seeded loaf sourdough that Aldi does, which is lovely. I stocked up on it the other day because it had 30% off. So I literally, to keep it in the freezer, and then I just pop this in the toaster. Obviously not to cook it through, but just to defrost it. So I'm cutting these up into cubes. There we go. These up into cubes like so. Okay, and then once I've done that, I'm going to put this into a bowl. There we go, put that into a bowl like that. And again, I'm going to literally drizzle this with a little bit of olive oil. Just, I'd say that's probably half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add some garlic granules. I'm going in with the Tropical Sun garlic granules. Not a lot, again, I'd say about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Just eyeballing it. These are going to be delicious. And then going in with some salt and pepper. There we go. Again, I'd say about 1/4 of a teaspoon is enough. And then we're just going to give that a good old mix. Now you can do this in the oven, or you can actually do it in the air fryer. And I'm going to pop these in the air fryer for about 5 minutes, just to get them nice and crispy. This has been in the oven for sort of 35 minutes-ish, and you can see that all the veg is nicely roasted. I'm going to now transfer this to my blender. I actually added some extra bone broth stock cubes in there. That's why there's the extra liquid in there, but obviously that is completely optional. So I'm going to add this into my blender, add in my stock, and get it all blitzed up. Side note, do not throw this in there full. Squeeze out the garlic, obviously once it's cool, and then discard of the rest. Who finds the taste of tomatoes too bitter, you can literally add a tiny squeeze of honey into the blender before you blitz it up, and I find it just takes that bitterness out. You don't need a lot, literally I'd say about a teaspoon, and it just makes it that extra tasty. Time to plate up. That looks so delicious. Look how lovely and steamy that is. And then I'm going to top with my croutons. And then we are going to finish off with a little grated parmesan for some extra flavour. And there we go, just look at that. That looks absolutely, and it tastes absolutely delicious. Hey my lovelies, happy Sunday. Well, it's Sunday that I'm actually filming. We are actually on our way to, and can you believe it, we're on our way to IKEA. I absolutely love IKEA. My husband, not so much, but we're going to go, and he actually said, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm really excited for this trip to IKEA.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
I did not say
those words came out of your mouth. Yeah, so we're on our way to IKEA because we're going to see if we, oh, it's kitchen again, we're going to go and see if we can get a plan drawn up. But actually, whilst I'm there, I was thinking I could probably, hopefully, get some chopping boards, because obviously I've had a nightmare trying to find chopping boards, like small ones, to fit those shelving units. But also, who doesn't want to mooch around IKEA? So we're off to IKEA now. We wanted to go to Howden's, but apparently no Howden's are open on the weekend. So we'll go there, see how we get on. If we've got time, we might pop back to Wickes, but we'll see. Anyway, see you when we get to IKEA. So we didn't get to sit down with a showroom person, obviously really booked up. However, they actually do a virtual design planning consultation. So I've actually got one booked in for Tuesday, so I can sit down virtually, because obviously we've got all the measurements and stuff, and actually we can do that in the comfort of our own home without a certain someone wanting to wheel things and take things and all of that stuff. So yeah, not completely unproductive. So I'm at home now, appointments have been made. We actually have 3 appointments for next week. So the first one, we're actually going back to a showroom for the Symphony Kitchen. Then we've got the virtual appointment booked with IKEA. Then we have get my words out. Then we have an at-home visit booked for Wickes. So hopefully by the end of next week, we should have something solid and concrete to work with and be a little bit closer to making a final decision. So as you can see in the background, I think there we go, I've got my slow cooker on. I really fancied a roast dinner, but obviously with being in and out of the house, I wasn't sure how I was going to make that happen. So for the first time ever, I'm cooking a whole chicken in the slow cooker. I was a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. I have started it like the normal way up, and then I flipped it halfway down because a couple of people said if you turn it breast side down, all the juices run to the bottom. But let me show you what I've done. So I know it doesn't look particularly appetizing at the moment, but let's just go with it. So at the base, I've got some rough chopped veg. I've got carrot, celery, garlic, and then I've got like this rack tray. I put the chicken on first, like I've done it right way up first of all. Halfway through, I've turned it upside down. So I started off, let me put the lid back on, don't disturb the cooking time. I started off, so I put this on at 9:30 in the morning, and for the first couple of hours, it was on high, and then I've turned it down to low. So total cook time, I think will probably be, what's the time now? So it's coming up for 6 hours. So I'm aiming to have this at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to continue cooking it on low. I think what I'll do is for the last half hour, if I can turn it over without it falling apart, and maybe just put it under the grill just to crisp up the skin, because I quite like a bit of crispy skin. But I will let you know how it tastes. Everybody says that once they've cooked it this way, they don't go back to oven cooking. But I mean, that is a big, bold statement. We will see how we get on. Let me know in the comments, do you regularly slow cook whole chickens? I do. I love my slow cooker and I use it like really often, but I've never done a whole chicken. I don't know why. I just had this bit of a fear about cooking whole chicken in there, but I suppose it's the same as cooking a lamb. But anyway, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a little bit smug at the moment. This will hopefully be the easiest roast dinner because in the lead up to Christmas, I basically batched and froze all of my roast dinner. Honestly, it was an absolute game changer. I definitely recommend, but I've done some extras. So I've done an extra cauliflower cheese, which I brought out to defrost in the fridge last night. I've got some Yorkshires that I made and froze, so I've still got loads actually in the freezer, so I just brought them out. I've got my pre-made roasties in goose fat. So I've brought some out again. Again, I've got a massive big bag in the freezer. I have got some extra carrot and parsnips, but I thought I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do some peas and sweet corn. Do you guys have sweet corn with your roasts? We love having sweet corn. Depending, I mean, I have got a leek and cabbage in the fridge, but I may not actually do that. But yeah, gonna literally leave these out on the side to defrost and then bung them in the oven. I have taken the chicken out of my slow cooker. So it's been cooking now for 7 hours, 2 hours on high, 5 hours on low, and it's literally falling off the bone. But I like crispy skin, so I'm going to get this in the oven for the last sort of like half an hour, just so this can get crispy. So this was the base, and now you can probably see. So at the bottom, you've got all my veg. This would be perfect to make a lovely gravy. And then I've got my makeshift kind of metal tray that the chicken sat on, so it wasn't sitting in all those juices. I might actually baste it a little bit actually with the juices, and then put this in the oven to crisp up that skin. But actually, it looks really tender, and obviously the proof will be in the tasting, so we shall see. Have the skin nicely crisped up after being in the oven for about 20 minutes. I've already tasted the chicken and it's absolutely delicious. Loads of flavour in there. Can't wait to eat this. I'm starving now. Good morning, my loves. I hope you're okay. So I thought I would continue to vlog today. It's Wednesday. This is the outfit that I've chosen for today. I needed something to be quite comfortable because today is a busy day. So I've done the school run and I have stripped to my bed. I'm going to show you actually, because I don't know what it was, but after Christmas I had this like innate need to get super organised. So there was a cupboard which is under the stairs. Let's just go actually. Let me show you. Okay, doesn't look as neat. Let's push these in because my daughter's got a habit of not pushing things in. Anyway, this cupboard here, let's put a light on. This cupboard here was like a bombs it, an absolute bombs it. there was stuff everywhere. I'll try to find, okay, I'm going to try and find, let's just pan out, there we go. I'll try and find it before, but it was honestly, there was bedding, towels, blankets, Christmas beddings, Christmas throws, Halloween throws everywhere. And I was like, no, we need to do something here. So I got these. They're like fabric storage boxes, really. First of all, I started off with the plastic storage boxes, but I found I didn't get that much space. So I switched to these. And now look, we've got all the Christmas bedding up here and Christmas throws, Halloween throws, all of the seasonal stuff up here. Everyone has their own. So this is Olivia's, this is Theo's, this is mine and Luke's, because obviously we've got Super King, so our stuff is a lot higher. In here we've got like beach towels. In here I've put what are those things called that you step on out when you get outside the bath mats. Oh, this is Luke and Theo's swimming stuff, because they got in the hot tub the other night, and I've just stored some spare loo rolls here. But it honestly has been an absolute game changer, and it just makes it look a lot more organised. This is Olivia's side. As you can see, she's just bunged her stuff back here. But what I've done was I pulled everything out of these cupboards, because there's loads of toiletries in here that, to be honest, half of us don't really use anymore. And I can tell that someone has been back here and they haven't put stuff away in the proper place, but there we go. So this section here is all Theo's art stuff. So we've got books and stuff. So to be honest, this needs to be back in here. We've got like pads, colouring books. That's what needs to go back in here. Let's put them back in here while we're at it. Okay, that's better. And then I've got like all paints and paintbrushes. And then I've got all of their pens and colouring pencils in here. On the bottom, we've got all our arts and crafts stuff. Olivia's obviously taken over these drawers again, which do need to be organised at some point. But on the whole, I'm so happy with this, because it makes everything so much easier. Why was I telling you about this? Oh yeah, because I've stripped my bed. I need to get out my bed in. And instead of thinking, oh, where is everything? Trying to pull everything out, figuring out if it's Liv's or Theo's or mine. I know I can literally just go to this bit here, open it up, take out a bedding set, and there we go. Voila. Back to the plan of action for today. So plan of action for today is I'm going to go and take out some bedding, put it upstairs. I like to air the beds when I take them out. I don't know about anyone else, but I like to make sure they're nice and aired. Get all that air in with the windows open, obviously. It's very cold outside, so I'm going to do that. Going to make myself some nice breakfast, a nice coffee. Then I need to pop to Howden's, then back home, do some work, do the school run. And then tonight, my friend has... basically, she wanted to do one of those heels dance classes. She said it was a dance class. And then I read the small print and realised it was heels. So I need to try and find a pair of heels that I can walk in, let alone dance in. But actually, I am looking forward to it. It should be a laugh. It should be fun. But I'll take you along. I don't know if I can film, but it'll be comical, honestly. I'm looking forward to it. I used to dance and I used to love dancing. So, yeah, it'll be fun. So let's see how we get on. So another thing I like to do, which has made storage a lot easier and also just a lot more organised, is I've put, so in here I've got the pillowcases and the duvets all wrapped up in one. So I've literally folded up the duvet, put the pillowcase, and then I've put it all inside a pillow that actually goes with the set and folded it over, so it's nice and compact as well. So yeah, that's another little thing that I've done with all of the bedding, and it just feels a lot more organised. So yeah, really happy with my organisation. I'm definitely thanking my old self for doing that after the new year. Whilst I'm at it, I'm going to go and put this in the wash as well and swap out these, because these are such a breeding ground for bacteria. So I'll take that down. Yeah, so I basically hang the duvet and the throw over the banister. I mean, no one comes up here apart from me, just to let it air out a little bit until I'm ready to start making the beds again. So let's make my go-to breakfast. So I switched to having mainly savoury breakfasts probably about 2 years ago, and honestly it's been an absolute game changer. Obviously I'm in my mid-40s, perimenopausal, and having a high protein breakfast really helps to support my energy levels, it keeps me satiated, and just really helps to fuel my body. So I have some form of eggs most days, and normally I have around 3 eggs, mushrooms and tomatoes. I do love to season my food really well, so I start off with some lovely sea salt. I have some pepper added as well. I always add turmeric because turmeric's a great anti-inflammatory, but when you use turmeric you do need to add black pepper to activate the curcumin. I normally cook with a drizzle of olive oil. It's really good to have good fats with tomatoes. Tomatoes pair really well with fats, and I like to add some chili flakes for an extra kick, because why not? I was obviously feeling particularly hungry this morning, so sometimes I just have this, but I thought I'm going to add an extra piece of toast. Again, I'm using the Aldi seeded protein toasting loaf, sourdough toasting loaves. So 1 slice of that, and let me know in the comments, do you have a sweet or savoury breakfast? Hey guys, so a bit of a confession, I didn't actually make it to the dance class. So TMI came on, and do you know those evenings where you are just absolutely knackered? I could feel my energy dwindling, just really tired, and all I wanted to do was get into my PJs, snuggle up in my bed with its nice new bedding, and get an early night. I'm absolutely shattered. So yeah, I've given myself permission to do. So one thing that I definitely started doing a few years back was look into like cyclical living. Obviously with the season, but let's go off a little bit of a story time here. So not only with the seasons, but also with my cycle. So as a woman, obviously we've got different phases of our cycle. And sometimes I would really, like, I am quite a go-getting person. I'd like to think of myself as quite a motivated person. I'm quite an ambitious person. But sometimes I would beat myself up for, like, having an early night or feeling tired and unproductive. However, when I started tracking my cycles and realised, I'm in my luteal phase, that explains it all. And looking at like how a woman's body and energy levels are according to her cycle, it all began clicking into place. And honestly, I really feel like this is something that I wish I would have been taught when I was a teenager, because I would have given myself so much more grace. So for those of you who don't know, like, your energy levels change dependent on your cycle. So if you're on your luteal phase, which is the week, it's normally, to be fair, it's quite a long period. It's about 10 days in the lead up to your period, especially like I'd say primarily the week before your period. Your energy levels start to kind of like slow down a little bit. So you don't feel as motivated, you don't feel as productive, you might not want to be like, you're not going to be a social butterfly, you can feel a little bit more aggy, and obviously when your period comes in, you're definitely going to give yourself a bit more grace. But sometimes I would beat myself up for feeling that way without realising the reason why I was feeling that way. So now, if I am feeling a little bit demotivated or a little bit tired, and obviously I track my cycles now, I can be like, this is the reason why. Like, I should be feeling this way. It's natural for me to feel this way. Like, give myself grace, and then, you know, not beat myself up about it too much. But also the same applies for like the seasons as well. Like, we are in January, and sometimes when a lot of people talk about, you know, like new year, new me, goal setting and etc in January, and because I used to be one, don't get me wrong, I definitely think there's something about new year energy. New year energy is something that, you know, you can get swept up in, and it is quite nice to go into the new year with new plans. However, I'm not that regimented with setting hardcore goals in January, because when you think about it, if we were to follow and track nature, they're still, like, animals are still in hibernating. There's no flowers that are blooming in January, okay? Like, we are still very much wintering, and we've still got that wintering energy. So if you don't have that get up and go, you're not really supposed to in January. The new year doesn't actually start until March. Obviously, when you think we're going into spring, and when you think about it logically, spring is when, you know, the animals are coming out of hibernation, flowers are starting to grow, the leaves are starting to appear on the trees. naturally that's when we start becoming more energized. So for me personally, I give myself grace in the winter. Like, I'm not pushing myself to do anything extreme, anything hardcore. I'm not really deviating away from anything that I normally do. And like I said, because I don't even like to think of it as like a new health journey, although I have been on a journey, but because I've been slowly like implementing things over a period of time, I don't have these extremes where, you know, I've fallen off the wagon over Christmas and I really need to make it up into the new year. I don't have any of that. So I don't feel like I need to do any overhauls, if that makes sense. It's all been slow incremental changes that I've implemented that I've been able to stick to, because it's not been this all or nothing energy for me. So anyway, maybe I'll go into that in a separate vlog, and I can talk to you about how I've been able to make and sustain the changes that I have done over time. Because a bit of a backstory, I'd say if you was to look at me sort of 6, 7, 8 years ago, like 10 years ago, I was someone who was binge drinking on a regular basis, smoking 20 fags a day, eating rubbish. My lifestyle was absolutely, you know, it wasn't the most healthiest of lifestyles. I was always ill, always sick, and I've slowly but surely turned my health around massively. Like, I had a couple of health issues. I had a back injury that was quite debilitating. So I had I slipped a disc, and then when I had an MRI done, it showed like narrowing of the spine and narrowing of, I'll have to read it all out because, you know, it's all about medical jargon, but basically my disc would go basically every year, and I would be put out for weeks and weeks at a time, and then obviously during the routine MRI, when they were investigating my back, they found they called it the medical term is a teratomoid, which is like a dermoid cyst. So it's something that you're born with, that you might not never know is there until obviously an MRI will pick it up. But it's basically made up of fat and hair and tissue and nails. It's really disgusting. But obviously it had grown over time, and it grew quite substantial. And when they were investigating it, they were really good actually. The doctors referred me straight away for like investigations, and thankfully, you know, it was nothing kind of like sinister, but they were like, you know, you do need to remove it, because if it bursts and all of that matter goes within the body, you know, it could cause you some complications, so we need to operate to remove it. And I was like, don't really like the idea of having an operation. Is there any way we can get rid of it, you know, naturally, or is there any other way to make it go? And they were like, no, absolutely not. There's no, unfortunately, surgery is your only option. Surgery, however, was not my only option, because after making all these changes that I did to my lifestyle and my health, when I went back to see the sonographer, honestly, I'll show you, and I've shared this many times on my social media, went back to see the sonographer, it had gone, which was honestly incredible. And this is why I am such a champion of taking care of your health and supporting yourself in many different ways, because it can, honestly, the changes that it can make is amazing, and the changes in myself personally have been incredible. So anyway, let's wrap that up there, shall we? And I'll definitely will go into more detail within a different separate vlog in its own right, because, you know, I think there's a lot more to my story than just what I've told you here. But I really hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I've enjoyed making it, and I really definitely feel like I'm finding my feet now. Obviously, I've got the camera around the right way to begin with. But if you have any specific topics that you'd like me to cover, or if there's anything that you want me to vlog on, then let me know. If you want to see more of my recipes, or if you want to see more like kind of like day in the lives, or day in my own personal life, or I don't know, let me know what you want to see from me, and I'll happily make the content to give you guys. But hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will see you again next Sunday. So basically, vlogs will come out every single Sunday evening about 6 o'clock ish. So I will see you at the same time next week. Bye.